Guys, Kenwood Sports, man. It don't stop, man. Back with another one, man. Listen, I want to talk about these Cincinnati Bengals for a second, man. Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. One of the teams I had high expectations for coming into the 2024-2025 football season. But before I do, you already know I got the best sports channel on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now. I'm going to give you a second to do it. All right? Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this video. And leave me a comment. Hit the like button. And hit the notification bell. So you'll know when I go live. Because at some point, I'm going to go live. And you're going to know when I drop another video. Alright? But, man, back to these Bengals, man. The Bengals just beat the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, who are struggling mightily. You can damn near say the same thing about the Cincinnati Bengals, man. The Bengals are now sitting at 3-4. They started out 0-3. So they're 3-1 in their last 4 meetings, okay? But they have not beat a good football team yet. They haven't beat a good football team yet, man. Their wins were against the Panthers, the New York Giants, and the Cleveland Browns. The struggling boo-boo Browns, okay? And it wasn't impressive. It was a 21-14 victory. The Browns scored again on their last possession, okay? They started out the season 0-3. They lost to the Patriots. We already know every year a team gonna have one of the teams that win a lot gonna have a loss that's just unexplainable, okay? That you gonna say, man, how in the world did they lose to that team? They lost 10-6. They didn't have no offense going. Then they end up losing to Kansas City, 26-25, okay? They lost by 1 point. Remember, it was 4th and 20 something, I believe it was. It was like 4th and 20 something, Kansas City on their own. They're probably inside their own 20. And it was a pass interference play. They got the ball down the field for Kansas City. That was a tough break, okay? Then Washington, 38-33. These were all one possession losses, man. They lost to Washington 38-33. I think this was the game where it was scoring on every drive. They were scoring on every single drive. The Bengals, they kicked 3 field goals out of 4 possessions. Out of 5 possessions, I think they kicked 4 field goals. One of them was a miss. Those were the only times that somebody didn't score or near the clock out. But Washington kneeled the clock out on the last drive of the first half and the last drive of the second half, okay? So those were one possession losses, man. One possession, one score losses, one possession losses, okay? The Patriots, the Chiefs, and Washington. Then they end up playing the Panthers. Won that game, got to the game against the Ravens, had a 10-point, they had a double-digit lead in that game. End up losing that game in overtime. That was another tough loss. Joe Burrow threw an interception in the 4th quarter, gave the Ravens another chance, and they made the game close enough to win the game in overtime, man. So the Bengals, man, let me say this, though. We remember when Jamar Chase was in a contract dispute all during the offseason, all during the preseason. T. Higgins was requesting a trade. They hit him with the franchise tag. Joe Mixon, he left. He took his talents down south to NRG Stadium. Now he's with the Houston Texans, okay? He's doing, y'all know I talk about Joe Mixon. Feel like I talk about Joe Mixon in a lot of videos. But Joe Mixon, one of my favorite running backs in the league. He's with the Houston Texans and he's doing well. And the Cincinnati Bengals is missing him right now. I looked at his stats the other day. I know he has like 400 yards rushing. That's not including what he got receiving. I'm not sure how many yards he got receiving, but Joe does a great job of catching the ball out of the backfield. I said that to say this. He got 400 yards receiving, and he got 400 yards rushing, but Chase Brown, his replacement, got less than 400, and Joe Mixon done missed 2 games. He didn't miss 2 games because of his ankle. So he got more yards rushing than the Cincinnati Bengals starting running back do, and he missed 2 games already. Okay? Let that sink in for a second. But as far as the receivers go, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, plus losing Tyler Boyd, okay? Tyler Boyd. He left, I think I'm saying his name right, Tyler Boyd. I think that's what I'm thinking about. I think he's playing for the Titans right now. But losing Tyler Boyd and not having T. Higgins for the first couple of games. T. Higgins did not play against the Chiefs. T. Higgins did not play against the Patriots. And Jamar Chase, he had not been playing all preseason. So to be honest with you, Joe Burrow connection with his receivers they didn't warm up really until like that third game, until like the third or fourth game. So you can say that game around Washington and the game around the Panthers is when they just started to heat up. Okay, that's just when they started to build their connection. They had just started warming up, because you warm up in the preseason, guys. You get used to throwing to your guys in the off season. You get used to that continuity in the off season, in the preseason, and them not having Tyler Boyd, which that third guy who really draws coverage away from Chase, away from T. Higgins. You got to account for a guy like Tyler Boyd, man. He's not a bad receiver at all. He's pretty much he can be a number 2 on somebody else's team. I'm gonna put it like that. He just happened to be teamed up with good receivers in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So I'm gonna say that, man. That's how I feel about the situation. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase not being there. I know T. Higgins was there in the preseason, but for the first couple of games, he wasn't there. And it's nothing like live action, okay? But these guys got 3 games coming up against the next one is against Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is like the number 2 team in rushing in the NFL. Okay, Saquon Barkley, and we know Kenneth Gainwell backs him up, and Jalen Hurts can take off with the football at the drop of a hat. Okay? The Cincinnati Bengals is giving up 136 games rushing. 136 yards a game rushing, man. So that's not too good. That's not too good, man. They're giving up 136 yards rushing the game, and you got to go up against these Philadelphia Eagles, and also in that third game out of the next 3, you got the Baltimore Ravens again. So you got the Philadelphia Eagles, you got the not the Oakland Raiders, but the Las Vegas Raiders, who's always going to be connected to Las Vegas, going to be connected to Oakland in my eyes anyway. In everybody's eyes, because that's where everybody familiar with them from, California, either LA or Oakland, okay? So they got the Philadelphia Eagles coming up next, then they got the Raiders coming up after that, and then they got the Baltimore Ravens again, which is going to be a tough game, because they finding their stride right now. They found their identity. They're going to be running the ball heavily, because remember at the beginning of the year when they played the Kansas City Chiefs, they was not running the ball like that, okay? So Joe Burrow, he has not been doing bad, man. 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in these first 7 games, okay? 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, that's not bad. I know they're gonna have to tighten up. They're gonna have to fix their run defense, and also be able to run the ball some more, because everybody knows Joe Burrow gonna drop back and let it rip. Everybody know that already. So you're gonna have to do something the defense not expecting. You're gonna have to do something on your defense to stop that run. Because Philadelphia, like I said, they number 2 in rushing, guys. So I'm expecting them guys, they're going to have to win 2 out of these next 3 games to stay in the playoff hunt. We'll see what happens, man. I'm going to keep my eyes open, and I'm going to come back and continue to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Y'all know this is one of the teams that I have expectations for. Joe Burrow, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But I'm going to get back with y'all in the next one. I'm going to keep an eye on these boys, and then we'll see what happens in the next few weeks with these teams.